Are there frameworks around that of like, how do you train yourself or come to the habit of thinking like, what do I do with 100x the hours? I feel like that's such a creative act to like have
Mhm.
this broader scope of what becomes possible.
Yeah, so this is counterintuitive learning that I've seen in myself and from the best delegators at Athena, which is lots of people think that you have ambition and unlimited vision for all the things you can accomplish. And then you hire an assistant and that's how you accomplish them. But the causation is actually the reverse. It's as you get leverage, the cognitive load of all of the admin and little things in your life lifts. And for the first time, you raise your sights and you're like, well, I have time to do more things.
Mm.
I could give more generous gifts to my friends. I could start a new business. I could be more ambitious. And I think people's ambition is typically hemmed in by what they think is possible based on the tasks on their list. And so I felt this personally as I've had layered in more assistants, my ambition just kind of grows. I'm like, well, what if I do more and more and all these other things? And I didn't feel that way before because there's times at Thumbtack where you're working so hard, you're just buried and you're like, I can't possibly take on something new. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to figure out today. My encouragement to people is like, you just start by delegating. If you don't have enough money for even an assistant, start delegating to ChatGPT and you go to ChatGPT and you say, here's my top 2 personal and professional goals today or this week or this month. What are steps I could take to actually actualize this? And if you got a little more money, hire someone at Upwork for $5 an hour. And that lets you start acting on it. If you got more money, then you can work with Athena or an in-person assistant and you can get more and more leverage the more you pay. But I would just encourage you to you got to start and then it can compound from there.
I mean, this is like exactly what my leverage course and like expanding the book and stuff is about. Is just like trying to see your a career is not even really the right word, but like life, your scope of work as like compounding and using well leverage over the long course, whether it's people or capital or tools or products or whatever. Like
Yeah.
figure out how to do some work today that will make yourself more effective tomorrow. Athena, I think, gets this more than any other company I've ever seen. Like talks about it, builds playbooks, trains EAs in this, trains us like as customers, clients, whatever you call us. Like I know with certainty I'm the problem. Like I know I'm not in the top 10%, if not 50% of delegators. And I'm like lean on Athena and appreciate all the resources and work and effort gone into like coaching me, I think is a mistake, as you point out, to like assume that the EA is just going to like show up and magically know everything that they need to know about you and how to make your life easy.
It's partnership. EA needs to be trained, client needs to be trained, and the more both invest, the better you get. So what are the limiting factors for most people? I would say number 1 is belief that it's even possible to live a life of time abundance, to accomplish more, to have 100 hours in the day. I think lots of people don't believe that's possible because they've never seen it or experienced, and I probably wouldn't if I didn't experience myself. But you have to have that belief. And, you talk to people like me and others and you're like, all right, it actually is possible. So I could do it. The next is just like the desire. Like, do you want that? Do you want to have more in your life? Do you want to spend less time on things? Do you want to start more businesses? And then the third is more practical, like tactical. How do you actually go about and do it? And that depends on your budget. And, the more budget you have, the more you can spend. But there's ways for everyone to get started. And then there's also, I'd say, limiting beliefs. Like, I feel guilty to have someone just focused on me. Some people sometimes think, and I tell people to flip that around of like, hey, when you don't delegate and you don't offload things, you're actually withholding a great paying job to someone who desperately is excited to have it. And our assistants are so excited to work with you for years and have a great paying job. And so the more you delegate, the more you're helping a good-hearted person somewhere in the world. So that's like one limiting belief. Another is this, I call the cardinal sin of delegation, which is it's faster and better to do it myself. And it's the cardinal sin because it's true, but it's true the first time and not the 100th time. And so you have to go through that J curve. And then I'd say the third mistake or limiting thing for people is they don't invest for the long term and they think they can just try it for a couple of months or, try an assistant for 6 months and then try a new one. Like in venture, compounding is so good. Compounding gets all the good things in life. You make money, you have build relationships, and you build powerful assistant partnerships. And I've been working with one of mine for over a decade. And like, she's like my little sister now. She knows everything about me. I love her. She's seen all the ups and downs. She's been in my inbox during days where you get a term sheet for $100 million and days where you're getting lawsuits and you think the company's going to die.
Yep.
And there's not many other people in the world other than my wife who have actually seen all of that. And so that longevity and compounding is super powerful. So you got to sign up for the long game if you really want to get the big leverage.